broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on how to obtain $50,000 in business credit this year for your business. Today we're actually going to be going through the business credit building process. My goal for today is very simple. I want you to know by the end of the webinar exactly how to build business credit for yourself, for your business, and to also know the steps for building business credit. So if you want to, you can turn around and start selling or start building business credit for your clients. So what we're going to do today is first we're going to dive into just a few basic slides. I just always like to go through a quick overview of what business credit is because most people don't really know. And then we're going to take a look through an actual business credit building process. Not a bunch of slides today. What we're going to do is jump in and I'm going to show you the actual process that our clients go through to build business credit. The actual process that our clients are helping their clients go through to building business credit. So that's what we really plan on accomplishing today. And again, my goal is very simple. By the end of the webinar, I want everybody on this call to know exactly how to come in and build business credit for your business. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Ty Crandall, and I'm actually the Director of Business Credit Services here at CreditSuite. A little bit about my background. I've spent about 14 years in finance. I actually built a credit repair company from the ground up and sold it. Made a lot of money. I'm a living credit repair success story. And in large part, I sold my business because I incorporated business credit services. We were doing pretty well. We did a lot of volume. We had a lot of clients. But we needed a high-end product. We needed something we could make a lot more money on and something we could charge up front to offset our credit repair services and what we couldn't do there. So we incorporated business credit and our business just took off. Our business exploded with growth and as a result in 2011 I was actually able to turn around and sell that business for a very nice profit. So now I actually run the business credit division here at CreditSuite. The owner of CreditSuite, Michael Citron, and I are good friends. We go back a very, very long way. And when he saw my success with business credit and giving me the ability to sell my repair company as a result of what it did, he thought it would be a perfect fit for me to join the team here and teach everybody else how to do the exact same thing. So enough about me. Let's get to the topic at hand. You know, this is a very interesting statistic. 90% of business owners know nothing about business credit. So if you're on this call and you say, look, I'm in credit repair, I'm an accountant, I'm an attorney, and I should know this. My clients ask, but you're not real familiar with it. That's okay. I spent about 12 years of my financial career never really knowing anything about business credit. A lot of people I talk to in the credit repair industry that are accountants and attorneys and all these other industries don't know either. So if you don't know a lot about business credit, that's okay. The majority of the population doesn't know a lot about business credit, and that's what makes it so appealing is people are very curious of what it is and what can actually do for their business. Okay, so let's talk about what business credit is and how it actually works. Business credit's credit that's obtained in a business name. Okay, so with business credit, a credit profile and score is established and built for the business. Now, this is not for the business owner. So once the credit profile is built for that actual business, that business itself can start qualifying for credit and financing. Now, the credit is in the business name and is based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owner's. So since the business itself qualifies for the credit, in some cases there's no personal credit check required from the business owner. Obviously, this is a reason that business credit's very appealing to our clients that do credit repair because a lot of their clients have credit challenges. They're not able to get money, and business credit completely solves that problem because it can be built completely separate from the personal credit without the personal credit even being looked at. So that means people with credit challenges on the personal side can still come in with no issues and successfully build a business credit profile and score for their business. Now, once that business credit's built, the business can use the credit to qualify for revolving store credit cards, Staples, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart. They can get Visas, MasterCards, American Expresses. The business can also qualify for credit lines, loans, auto vehicle leasing, commercial real estate purchase, and more. Most people are blown away to know that you can actually purchase real estate using business credit in your business name. But really, if you think about it, most things you can do with your consumer credit, you can do the exact same things for the business with business credit. A business can get credit cards. A business can get loans. A business can get auto vehicle leasing and commercial real estate exactly the same as an actual consumer can. Okay, now there's a lot of benefits, obviously, that come from business credit. You know, a credit profile can be built for a business that's completely separate from the owner's profile. So what that happens is it really gives the business owner double the borrowing power. They have the credit that they've always had, and then on top of that credit that they always have, they're able to come in and actually build a business credit profile and now get all that same kind of money for their business credit profile on top of their actual consumer profile. Okay, now business credit scores are based on how the business pays. So it's just a lot faster to build business credit than consumer credit. Okay, consumer credit's got built on payment history, utilization, length of credit history, credit mix. You know, there's 5 factors that tie into personal credit scores. So it's hard to get those scores high quickly. But business credit, here it is. It's based on one factor. It's kind of how a lot of us wish all credit was. Does the person pay their bill? Yes. They have good credit. It's as simple as that. And that's exactly what business credit scores reflect. Does the person pay on time? Do they pay early? Do they pay late? And the score actually indicates how early, on time, or late they really pay. So if you've heard before that somebody has an 80 Paydex score, all that means is they pay their bills on time. That's it. That's all it means. Okay, and then if you've heard somebody say they have a 60 Paydex, well, then that starts meaning that they're paying late, 21 days late, 30 days late. It's interesting. I actually have a slide that shows every single score and what it means. 99, 98, 97, 96, exactly how many days late that ties into. But here's a good overview. It kind of shows you that literally the score is based on how on time, early, or late that business actually pays. So when done correctly, another benefit is that business credit can be built without a personal credit check. Okay, obviously a big benefit to anybody that has personal credit problems. And some sources will approve the business owners with the owner taking on no personal liability. Okay, this is one of the other biggest benefits of business credit. Actually, you're probably looking at the 2 biggest benefits of business credit. The fact that people can get business credit and build it without the personal credit being a factor, and the fact that business credit can be built where the business can get money with no liability to the business owner is huge. Those are the biggest benefits, okay? Imagine getting credit cards and loans and all these things without you being personally liable for them. That's the power of what business credit can actually do for a business owner. So a business starts building brand new credit really the same as a consumer does. You know, they start with no credit profile. The business gets approved for new credit that reports to the business credit reporting agencies. The business uses the credit, pays the bill on time, and a positive business credit profile is established. And as the business continues using the credit, paying the bill, then it continues to qualify for more and more credit. The credit grows. Everything you see on this slide is the same as consumer credit. I mean, it's the same. Everybody starts with nothing. They go out and get small credit typically. They build that up. They pay their bills. They get more and more and more credit. Exactly the same protocol applies for business credit. But obviously, the steps of building business credit are much different than consumer credit. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at the actual steps of building business credit. Okay, I want to actually walk you through a business credit building process. So to do so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you might say. What you're looking at now is something we call the Business Finance Suite. This is a turnkey solution that our clients use to sell to their customers where their clients can get money for their business and build business credit. Today you're going to get a chance to walk through the Finance Suite, but not for me to show it to you. The purpose of going through it today is I want you to see the actual business credit building process as it really occurs. Again, not just a bunch of slides. Okay, I want you to see the exact experience as a client would actually experience it with us, because I personally, that's just kind of how I learn. I think going through something and kind of seeing a sample of how something is done. So today that's what we're going to do. Instead of just going through a bunch of slides and me showing you and talking to you about it, I want to actually show you the business credit building process. So that way I think it means a lot more, it'll sink in a lot more, and you'll be more knowledgeable about the process and able to come in and start building business credit for yourself right away. So this is something actually the Business Finance Suite. This is our dashboard. This is kind of where all the rubber meets the road. This is where all the getting gets done. We got little tips about what step the client's actually in the process. Now, our clients through the process are going to start exactly where you're going to want to start your clients or start the business credit building for yourself, which is in step 1. So here's how this works. First of all, a lot of people apply for business credit and get denied. Okay, it's the way it is. You might be one of those people. You've probably talked to other people that have had the exact same thing happening, where you come in and you try to get approved, but you get denied. And the reason most people apply and get denied is because lenders have very specific requirements of what they're looking for with business credit. Okay, if you meet the requirements, great, you get approved. If you don't meet the requirements, then you don't get approved. It's as simple as that. But here's the difference. In the consumer world, they tell you why you got turned down. Okay, they tell you. They send you a letter that says, we pulled this report, we pulled this bureau, and blah, blah, blah. In the business world, they don't need to tell you that. See, they don't even need to tell you they turned you down. They let alone tell you why. So a lot of people try to get approved for business credit. A lot of people have gone through and applied at Home Depot or Lowe's or other sources. But the problem is that they didn't get approved. And this is because typically they actually don't have what they need to even get started. They don't have their business set up credibly. And we call this a credible business foundation, meaning there are very specific things that lenders are looking for on this application. And if they see it, again, you get approved. If they don't get approved. But if you don't know what they're looking for, you're kind of left out in the cold, right? It's hard to know what to put on an application unless you really understand what the lender's actually trying to accomplish, what they're really asking. So what we do in step 1 is we really reveal that. We reveal the lender's secret formula for approval. We actually go through and teach the client how to fill out the application to get approved. It really, in my mind, is the way banking should be done. You know, it shouldn't be a matter of filling out an application, you send it in and cross your fingers. You know, you should be working with someone one-on-one. We have our business advisors that work with our client one-on-one to help make sure that as they're completing that application, they meet those requirements. So that way, when you start applying, you stand the best chance of getting approved because your credible foundation is built. Now, there's a lot of things involved with building a credible foundation for a business, and that's what we go through with a client in step 1, what you're going to want to go with the client before they even get to a point of start building business credit. For example, they need their state records. They need their federal EIN, their bank account. They need business licenses, DBA, separate business phone numbers, 411 directory, Experian file, a D&B file, Equifax file. They need their business credit histories, a physical address, bank ratings, tax returns. Don't worry, I'm going to go through the stuff in more detail. I'm just kind of giving you an overview. Public records. There can't be any judgments, liens, less pendants on them. Credit cards, they need at least a few credit cards open to be able to build the business credit. A bank loan will help. They need a business model. So all these type of things are what lenders really look for to be able to actually approve an application for business credit. So the very first thing you want to do with any customer, as I'm going through step 1 here, is make sure that they meet these requirements. So first of all, you need to make sure they have a real corporation set up. Okay, believe it or not, a lot of people are doing business. They don't even have a real business. You have to have a real corporation set up. You have to be legit or nobody's going to give you money. Pretty obvious. Okay, so you've got to start with making sure that that corporate entity is set up. Now, this is a big question a lot of people ask. What entity to set up? Are you an LLC? Are you an S Corp or do you a C Corp? You know, are you a sole proprietor? Are you a partnership? Well, to answer your question, the best way to set up business credit is through a C corporation or an LLC, a C Corp or LLC. And here's why. Because your goal of business credit is to separate the personal liability, right? You don't want to be personally liable for the debt, okay? But the problem is C Corp, or excuse me, an S Corp, for example, a partnership, a sole proprietorship. You are fundamentally part of the corporation. That's the way those tax structures work. Okay, the way those entities work, you are part of the corporation, for example, as a sole proprietor. So you can never separate your liability from the business if you are part of the business. So what you've got to do first is separate your entity. You've got to make sure that you individually are not part of the corporation so you can separate the liability. With a C corporation, okay, with an LLC, you are not part of the corporation. So you could then build business credit for the business and you wouldn't be personally liable because you're not part of that entity. You're separate from the actual corporation itself. Okay, again, sole proprietorship, partnerships, that's not the case. In those, you're part of the corporation, okay? The profits of the company get carried over to your personal tax returns. You're part of the corporation. So the very first thing in building business credit is to build with an entity where you're actually able to separate the liability, which is an LLC or a C corporation. First step that you actually want to take with your actual client. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that there's several things they have that are set up correctly. Okay, the first thing is their actual address. Okay, a lot of people don't know this, but for you to really be approved for business credit, you need a brick and mortar storefront office. You need to be in a physical building. You can't be at work and from home. Now don't get me wrong. Some business credit sources would actually approve you if you worked from home, but most wouldn't. Okay, so you want to make sure that on paper you have the persona of a real company. The bigger the better, which means you on paper you need to show a real physical address. Excuse me while I take a drink of water. So what does that mean? Does that mean you need to move into an office? No, it doesn't. It means on paper, you need to show that you have a real physical office. So if you're working from home now, that's fine. All you need to do is get a virtual address. A virtual address through companies like, for example, Regis, will actually help you on paper have the persona of a big company, a big physical address. For example, when I went through this, I got an office address in downtown Tampa. Okay, downtown Tampa, because it makes me look bigger, right? If I'm in a high-rise building in downtown Tampa, it just adds more to my credibility. So I got a virtual address, I got my mail there, but then they take my mail and send it to me. So I have a physical address in downtown Tampa for all my applications, for anything I need to do, and any mail that gets sent there, they send right to you. That's how a virtual address works. They're very cheap, they're very affordable, and it makes sense because you can have on paper the persona of a big company, a big physical address, even if you might be working from home. So again, if you or your clients are in a home-based business, that's okay. You just really want to consider a virtual address, because I promise you, if you go in with an application using your home address, you're not going to get approved at a lot of sources, and other sources that will approve you won't approve you for as much money. Okay, now check this out. See right here in our system how it says type unknown? Well, our system has the same technology that lenders use. You see, we search the phone number, we search the address just as a lender would, and we know immediately if it's a real physical address or not. Okay, this one says type unknown because it's not a real address. Okay, but the bottom line is, if you put in a home address here, our system would immediately tell you this is a home address. This won't work. This is the same technology lenders use, so you can't trick them. Okay, if you think that you've got a P.O. box or a UPS box, they're going to know. Okay, not only could they easily do a satellite image to see the UPS store, a lot of these are in a database where they're going to know right away if it's a UPS address or a mailbox or those type of things. Okay, so we have the same technology that lenders use, and it's very advanced. The bottom line is, if you use a home address, a P.O. box, the lender's going to know what you're doing. So you really want to try to lead with a physical address. It's going to give you the best chance for actually being approved. Now you'll see in our system we go through this with written, we have audio where the client can listen to this, and if the client needs something like a physical address, they could just in one click connect to a source that does that. So with our system, we actually have negotiated rates that are cheaper they're going to get anywhere else with top companies. So if they don't have a virtual address or those type of things, in one click, their whole application auto-populates, and we set them up with a virtual address or whatever else they need. Now, a lot of services like that have a cost. They'll have to pay whatever wholesale cost is. Some services, like 411 listing, for example, there is no cost to us, so that they get it for free. Okay, so other things that you're going to want to walk through is a phone number. Obviously, right? Every business needs a phone number, but really if the business is doing business outside of their local area, then they need a toll-free number also. Okay, I had a guy that owned a pizza shop, and he got stuck on this. I said, you don't need a toll-free number. You're a pizza delivery. Nobody's calling toll-free for pizza delivery. So, in a business like that, he was fine. But, in any other business where you're marketing outside of your immediate area, you pretty much need a toll-free number. I mean, most businesses have it, and when you have an application with a local number, with a toll-free number, it just adds tremendous amounts of credibility. On top of that, it's also a very good, pretty much necessity to have a fax number for the business. Okay, your business really should have a fax number. First of all, you need to send in the applications in some cases. You need to receive the applications. There's a lot of solutions with this nowadays. Nowadays, you can go to a Ring Central or a similar type of company, and you can get your phone number and your fax number be one and the same. My number's like that. If you ever send a fax to my number, I would get the fax. I get calls and I get faxes to my number. So it's really convenient. And I think you can get set up with those kind of services for less than $10 a month. So in a lot of cases, you could do these two in one shot, a fax and toll free. But the business will need for applications a business phone number and fax number. And wow, this is probably one of the most important things that is involved in business credit building. It's so basic, but it's so important. Submitting your 411 listing. I mean, it's astonishing. Our business was open 5 years, and I never submitted a 411 listing before. I mean, it just blew me away when I got into the system. We were never even listed with 411. It was so surprising. So that's one thing they all look at. Even the very basic business credit sources, which you're going to see in a minute or a little bit later, they want 411. They'll approve you with just an EIN and 411 check, but you got to be in 411. You've got to be. I mean, this is the one fundamental check that a lot of lenders and a lot of business credit sources do look at. They look at, do you have an EIN? They look at, do you have a 411? Some of them won't look at how many trades you have and this and that, but they'll always look at EIN and 411. So if your phone number isn't listed with 411, you need to get it listed with 411. It really is essential. If it's not listed with 411, believe it or not, you will not get approved. And see, that's the problem with business credit, is that how would you know that? If you got denied because you weren't listed with 411 and nobody told you that, you would never, ever, ever know why you got denied, never be able to fix the underlying problem, and you'd never be able to get more credit. Now you know. So get listed with 411 or for your clients before you even apply. Okay, again, through our system, we do the exact same thing. We come in, we get them listed with 411, and we do this check for their phone number. So on the previous page and on this page, we check to make sure that it's not a home phone number. That's another big thing I didn't even mention. You can't use a home phone because they know. I mean, the system, just look at our system right here. Look, cell phone. Boom, we pegged it. That this technology knows what you're entering. It knows if it's a landline. It knows if it's a cell phone. You just can't go with a cell phone when you're trying to apply for business credit. Let me tell you what'll happen. You'll get flagged. Okay, if you have, let's say, not a real physical address or a cell phone number, what happens is they could possibly flag your file, basically putting in there that your business is too new to score, and it would cause all kinds of problems with you getting approved for anything in the future. Okay, so you've got to make sure that you're entering a real landline phone number that's associated with business, not a home phone or cell. And again, we use the same technology through our system that lenders use. So you can see right here, our system pegged it. This is a cell phone. Okay, and this is exactly what lenders would see that would prevent qualification. So make sure you're listed with 411. Make sure you have a real business address. Try to get a toll-free and a fax number. Okay, that stuff is going to be very important because it's going to ask for it on the lending application. It's not like stuff you can get around. It's point blank on the application, and if you don't have it, you're not going to get approved. Okay, another thing, a website, an email address, presence on the web. Every single lender nowadays does research on your company, all of them. Not some, not most, all of them. Okay, so here's what I've learned with merchant accounts, with banks, with lenders. Never let them bump into information about your company. You need to control what they see. So the first thing they see, first of all, should be your website. If you put your website on the application and you do a good job of explaining the services and products that you offer, contact information, your refund policy, if you do a good information of putting that stuff on your website, typically lenders aren't going to look anywhere else. If you don't put a website on your application, you pretty much won't get approved. If you put a website on there, but it's a pretty basic website with not a lot of info, the lender will go to Google and start Googling your name, looking for any information it could find about your company. And again, you need to control this. You do not want lenders to bump into data about your company. You need to control what they see. So have a good, solid website, because every application asks for your website on it. This will give you the best image of your company. And nowadays, there's a lot of places you could go for $50, $100, $200 or less and have an unbelievably powerful website built for your company. Okay, so you need to have a real physical website to get approved, or you're just not going to get approved for business credit. On top of a website, what else is equally important is having a real business email address. Okay, my personal email address is on the FL Beach. Okay, I can't go submitting lending applications with on the FL Beach as my email address. I mean, it makes me look like a schmuck. I definitely don't look professional, I'll tell you that much. So instead, you need to lead with a business email address. For example, my email address is ty@disputesuite.com. That makes sense. Okay, if you went to disputesuite.com, that is our domain. So that's what you want to have. It should be info@yourcompany.com or whatever it may be. You definitely don't want to use a personal, not a Gmail, not an AOL, not any of those addresses. It needs to be a professional email address. Now, this should be easy because most places like GoDaddy that you go to get a domain, they come with emails. So if you go get your domain as businesscreditcompany.com, then you could easily have your email address info@businesscreditcompany.com. It usually comes free with the domain. So as long as you got your domain set up, a professional email really isn't difficult to do. You could even take your professional email and forward it to your personal email if you want to. But the bottom line is, from application purposes, you need to show a website. You need to show a professional email address like info@ business credit or info@yourcompany.com. Very, very crucial to getting approved. And again, through the Finance Suite, all this is really, we help the client with them. It just makes it easy. One click, they get connected to a service that does this, so they never actually need to leave the system to get those things set up. Okay, so EIN, like I said, EIN and 411. These are the two big factors for business credit building, because you see, there's business credit sources out there that are called vendors who will approve you for your very first trade lines. We're going to learn about them in a minute. And there are some vendors out there that will approve your business if you only have EIN and 411. But if you're missing one of those two, you just won't get business credit. So EIN number is really, really, really important. If you're not familiar with what an EIN number is, the basic, easy way to describe this is how the IRS recognizes your company. Okay, you have a social security number. It's how our government recognizes you as an individual in the United States of America. Okay, an EIN number is how the IRS and how our government recognizes your business in the United States of America. Later on, you're going to learn about a DUNS number, which is a worldwide business identifying number. But for right now, the EIN number is how basically the IRS and our government recognizes your company. It's real easy to get. You can go type EIN on Google or go to irs.gov and be able to get set up for an EIN number. You have to have this. It's one of the fundamentals of having a business and a corporation set up, and it's something that almost all of them are going to check. So you want to make sure that you have an EIN number set up. The other big thing is business licenses. Man, this is big. As a matter of fact, We have people that, we've heard of people that come in and been denied for credit before, and this was why. It was because they weren't even licensed properly. For example, they were a contractor without a contractor's license, okay? They were a credit repair company operating in a state where they should have been bonded, and they weren't bonded. Okay, there's a lot of these type of things with licensing requirements that people just don't do. Maybe they don't want to, maybe they're lazy, maybe they can't afford it. But when it comes to business credit building, you need to be legit. That's what I started this whole step one with. You got to be legit. So that means you have to have your corporation set up. You have to have the proper licensing for your corporation. Another thing is, do you have a bank account open? This is huge, huge. Matter of fact, most business owners don't know how big this really is. Let me tell you. A lot of lenders will look at your bank open date as the date your corporation started, not the date you filed for the corporation. Okay, so let me repeat that again. A lot of lenders judge how long you've been open for, how many years you've been in business. They make that decision based on when you open your bank account, not when you got incorporated. It's mind-blowing, okay? And the reason is because, honestly, people like me. Okay, I have a habit of thinking of an idea, thinking of a name, and going in and buying the corporation in Florida because it's easy, it's cheap. It's $60 in Florida to get a corporation set up, right? So I want to get it. No, I don't want anybody else to have it, so I'll go get it. And I have, 5, 6 corporations that I have right now that I've never even used, okay? They've been open for years. I've got a real estate corporation that I've owned for 7 years to do real estate. Okay, have I ever done real estate through it? No. Originally, at one time, I was going to, and I never ended up doing that. Okay, the bottom line is that I had the corporation for 7 years. So if people were lending that corporation money, they would see a corporation that's been open for 7 years on paper, but in reality, it hasn't been open for 7 years. I don't even open a bank account. I'm not doing business with it. But if I was using that corporation to do business, the first thing I would do would be to open a bank account, right? Because I need to accept money. I need to write checks. So that's why a lot of lenders look at this, date that you started your bank account as the day you open your actual corporation. Okay, now that, amongst several other reasons, are why you kind of want to get a bank account and stick with it. It's not a great idea to keep opening and closing bank accounts. And we're going to talk about bank ratings here in a minute and how much of an impact that actually has on your ability to get bank loans. But the bottom line is, get a bank account, open it, and keep it open. That longevity of that account will tie into your bank credit, which ties into how much money you end up getting approved for. And then it also, in a lot of cases, is how lenders determine the age of your company as that business bank account. Now, merchant account processing, you don't need this. Okay, you don't need to have the ability to accept credit cards through merchant accounts. If you hear me take a little pause like that, it's because I'm drinking a glass of water or drinking a bottle of water. But if you have merchant accounts, it opens up financing options for you. So you don't have to do that as part of your business credit building process. But if you do have merchant processing, that will open up some options for you to get financing. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So we're back to licensing. And this is just kind of an overview on ours, a checklist for clients to go through to make sure that they've got their listings filed correctly. But it's a great checklist for you to run through with clients. State business filings listed correctly, county license and or permit filings listed correctly. Now I'm going to stop and I'm going to tell you all something. I'm going through stuff. I'm trying to give you a lot of detail, okay? And obviously, I don't expect you to be able to write down everything I'm going through here. So because you attended this webinar, probably tomorrow, I'm going to be emailing you a webinar playback, a link to the playback of this webinar, okay? And through that playback, you could stop the video, you could rewind it, go back and forth. So if you're not able to write down everything we're going over here, don't worry about it, okay? Probably tomorrow you're going to get a playback of this webinar, and you'll be able to go back through that, stop it, pause it, rewind it to get any details that you missed. Okay, you're also going to need city licensing. Permits filed, IRS filings, 411, bank account listed correctly. So all of these things are checklists that we have for our clients, the same as you should have a checklist for your clients. Bank accounts listed correctly. That is something that I didn't mention. On top of having the licensing, the bank account set up, the IRS filings, all of this stuff has to be uniform. It's really, really important. Meaning, if the name of your company is ABC Corporation, you can't have ABC on your bank account. Then your EIN is listed under ABC Corporation, Inc., okay? Then your 411 is under ABC Corp. Those are all different names. It has to be uniform on all of them. A lot of people don't know that. But your licensing, your bank account, your IRS documents, even your utility bills should all be uniform. They should all have the exact same name. You need to make sure that your EIN number is correctly on all of those. Now, see, that's the kind of little detail you'll miss. And I'll give you an example. Okay, I made a mistake a long time ago. What I did was I wrote down the wrong EIN number. I wrote down another one of my corporation EIN numbers on an application for something. And then I kept that application. And every time I needed the EIN for my corporation, I kept looking back at that application. So, 8 months passed, and I'd realized that I had been giving out the wrong EIN number time and time and time again. It was a stupid mistake. But you know what? I was a business owner. I'm overwhelmed. I'm slammed. Things like that happen. And that's why you got to do this check. Because even though you think, well, of course my name is the same on my stuff. Of course the EIN is. Do a double check here. For your sake, it's just worth it at this point just to make sure everything is consistent. And once you do this one time, then whenever you need money in the future, it's just one less thing you have to worry about. You did it. You made sure everything was uniform. You never have to worry about it again. But you really need to make sure this stuff is uniform because it's very, very possible, just like happened with me, to have the wrong EIN listed and to have stuff that's not uniform listed on these different licensing, these different documents. You really want to go through and make sure that those things are uniform, okay? Now, if you've done this, then you now have a credible foundation. For yourself, for your clients, you're good, okay? You now have the best chance of getting approved. And that's what we tell our clients here. What we want them to do is not just have a system where they can go get money. We want them to have the best chance of approval. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to show you the system today, walking through this, because this is designed not just to help you build business credit, but to help you do it in the way that you're going to get the greatest amounts of approvals. So this is exactly the stuff that you want to go over with your clients to make sure that they meet these requirements. Now, our system comes with a business finance advisor, so they're helped through this. The business advisor actually calls them on the phone, and the finance officer too, and goes through this step with them. They go through them with them on the phone. They help them through this. Okay, so it really helps to have somebody hold their hand, walk them through it, and make sure all the stuff is set up the right way. Again, if you're using our system, it's easy. It's done for you. We've got advisors. If you're not, that's okay. Just make sure you dedicate the time with your clients. They need hand holding. They need your help to get through this kind of stuff. It's kind of overwhelming and confusing to a lot of them. So an overview through. Okay, they got to make sure that that business entity is set up right. The address, the phone number. Make sure they have a toll-free number and a fax number. Make sure their phone number is listed with 411. They need a business address. They need a business website. They've got to have their EIN number, all their licensing for their city, for their county, for their state, for the federal government. Okay, they need to have a bank account open. And they need to go through and make sure all the information on their utility statements, their licensing, everything is uniform. It reflects the exact same name. So if they've done all those things, now you have a credible foundation. Okay, so now what can happen is the client will actually move in and get their business credit reports. It's the next thing they really should do is get their business credit reports, okay? Now, in our system, that's step 3. Okay, I'm going to skip step 2. I'll tell you about step 2. Actually, I'll walk you through step 2 real quick because this isn't a step you're going to have in your process. But it is something I guess I should talk about because it's a problem. This is what happened. Our clients came to us and said, look, we want to offer business credit to our customers, but we don't want to learn all this. How do we do it? So we created this turnkey system for them to be able just to sell it. It was all done for them. But in the process, we found a big problem with business credit. What we found was that everybody wants it. Everybody loves it. Of course, common sense, right? I mean, who wouldn't want money with no liability? But the problem was by the time everybody learned about it and wanted it, they needed money. They wanted money right away. So they wanted the business credit. They loved the idea of getting money with no liability, but they needed money right away, and they weren't going to be happy unless they got money right away. Well, this business credit building is a process. Okay, so what we did was fix that problem in step 2. With our clients through the finance suite, we get them money right away before they even begin the process of building the business credit. That's why it's step 2. So what we do is get them money right away. That way they're happy as they're building the business credit process, and they're patient, right? They already have money. And we didn't just stop there. We actually plugged in more lending sources than anywhere else. There's over 30 products. So that means we can help people with bad personal credit. How bad? 350. I mean, we got programs that'll help horrible credit people get financing. Even if they have a brand new startup business, we can get them financing. And how we get them financing is based on the strength of their business. Okay, again, I'm going to run through this just because it's step 2, but this is the end goal for you. Your end goal is to build business credit to be able to get them financing. For us, we just do it a little backwards. We get them financing right away because we found, again, somebody that gets 50 or 100 grand in the first 30 days is ecstatic. Then they're patient while they build the business credit. Okay, so you're going to need to know about some of this financing because there's a lot of different kind of financing that's out there. Through the system, we get them access to a couple different kinds of financing. One is unsecured credit. Okay, credit that doesn't require any kind of security at all. It does require a good personal credit, business credit, or a good credit personal guarantor. If they have it, they get up to $150,000 in credit cards, for example. Okay, but even if they have bad credit, but they have other things, like they have in revenue through their business. They have credit card sales coming in through their business. If they have structured settlements, okay, if they have purchase orders, if they have receivables, if they have any of those type of things, they can actually get approved for financing even if they have bad personal credit. Okay, they build a business plan in step 2. Not a big deal for business credit, ladies and gentlemen, but when you get to the end goal of financing, it is a big deal. You need to make sure they have a business plan, so it's something to keep in the back of your mind. We have structured settlements. Okay, we do 401k financing. If they have 401ks or IRAs, we get them money for equipment or borrow against equipment or purchase order financing or account receivable factoring. We get them through the system money if they want to buy rehab properties. Check this out. Somebody with a 650 credit score through our system can get 100% financing to buy a property and the money to rehab the property to flip it. It's a flipper program. It's designed for flippers. It's amazing. Okay, we've got programs to get vehicle wraps for their vehicles, to get commercial signage, to get them equipment, to get them film financing, almost anything you can imagine. A lot of these programs are very unique just to our clients. Okay, now again, if you're not using our system, that's okay. You just need to know some of that kind of financing is out there because your clients are probably going to want money right away, and you're going to need to solve that problem just as we did. So what our system does is it takes the client's information, runs it through underwriting guidelines for all these institutions, and renders a decision of all the programs they qualify for. Then in one click, they can auto-populate their application. We're all about saving time because business owners are busy. And in one more click, they could simply submit the application. Now, what will happen is that application in our team actually goes to a finance officer. Okay, so every client that gets the system gets a business advisor to help them with all business credit building aspects and a finance advisor to help them with all aspects of financing. So their application goes to the financing advisor. The advisor helps them with all aspects of obtaining funding. And again, the majority of our clients get money right away. They get financing 50 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, 150,000. We've even done transactions as high as 25 million through the system, and all that kind of funding is available in the first 30 days. A lot of it they can get without good credit. Some of it, you know, they need a personal guarantee, some they don't. But that's exactly what we do for them. And a finance officer helps them with all aspects of understanding the application, getting them approved. So again, something you want to think about, because if you're doing this on your own, we found that's a big problem. Clients want money. It's going to be something you're going to want to produce a solution for too. Okay, so let's talk about where we are. Back to the business credit building process. We built a credible foundation. The next thing is let's see what's on the report. Look, 90% of trade credit doesn't report to the business reporting agencies, but maybe they have trades that do report, so we got to figure that out. Okay, so they need to get set up with business credit reports so they could find this information out. Now, they could get reports with Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet, but I'll tell you, Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax are Dun & Bradstreet is the big player. Experian is a distant second, and Equifax is a non-player, really. So you probably want to get them set up with either going to Experian to get their business credit reports or Dun & Bradstreet. And they can go right to Experian or Dun & Bradstreet's websites to get signed up for the credit monitoring. Now, again, our clients don't pay for that. Okay, our clients get access to Experian smart business data at no cost. If you look, that's about 99 bucks a month. They get it for the whole year and they don't have to pay for it. Okay, it's one of the benefits of our system. But they could get the full monitoring with Experian, with Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax to our system also. Your clients should have at least one of these set up, probably with Dun & Bradstreet or Experian. The other thing, the first thing that's needed with Dun & Bradstreet is they need to get set up with a DUNS number, D-U-N-S, DUNS. The DUNS number is a worldwide identifier number for a corporation. Just like the EIN lets IRS know who your company is, the DUNS number lets the world know who your company is. A lot of places that use it is the United Nations, the U.S. government, the Australian government. If you're a contractor for the government, you have to have a DUNS number. So you've got to go to Dun & Bradstreet to get a DUNS number. Now, let me tell you how Dun & Bradstreet works. If you call them up and you tell them you want to build business credit and you need a DUNS number, the cost is, I think, $799 bucks. That's what they'll charge, about 800 bucks. Now, there is a way to get the DUNS number for free if you tell them you're just a contractor and you're getting it for contracting purposes, not business credit building. Then there is an indirect way to get it for free. Other than that, they're going to charge you $799 for the DUNS number and the activation of the credit profile. So it's something you want to set your clients up for, okay? You don't want them to be surprised by that. Again, our clients get it for free. They don't pay for that. Okay, they get the DUNS number, they get the activation. It's all free for the client. We don't charge them anything. We teach them how to get their profile active at no cost. Actually, we have the only system in the world that all three business credit reporting agencies, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax, are actually part of. Okay, so you can see they live data stream their report details right into our system. So in real time, the client can see how many trades they have, can access their monitoring. If anything changes in real time, this changes. For you, if you're not using our system, just make sure they're set up with Experian and Dun & Bradstreet, and expect the cost. You're going to be quoted $799 probably for the DUNS and activation. They're going to be quoted $39 to $99 bucks for the Experian Smart Monitoring. Dun & Bradstreet Equifax Monitoring ranges $39 to $99 bucks a month also. Okay, so you're going to get the business credit reports. Let's see if any trade lines are on those reports, and also get them the availability to monitor their business credit building as it's taking place. Now, once they have done that, now we start the process of building business credit. So remember in the beginning, we said that business credit building is really the exact same fundamentally as consumer building. You start with small credit cards. Well, in the business world, we call these accounts vendor accounts. They're typically given to you on net 30 terms, which means they're not revolving. You have to pay them back in 30 days. But a lot of these sources will approve you, even as a brand new business, even with bad personal credit. They'll even if you have no trade lines, they will initially approve you. So your first goal with building business credit is very simple. You need 5 vendor accounts on the report. You need to get approved with 5 different vendors that report. Now, here's some that you might want to write down on this first page. They might not all be dealing with services that you use, like Lockwood & Associates. They deal with corporation services, Minutes, Incorporating. But these companies all on this first page will approve just about anybody. So they're good ones to write down. Loughlin & Associates, spelled Laughlin, L-A-U-G-H-L-I-N Associates. Another is ITC Web Services. And again, if you can't write all this down, don't worry. Tomorrow you're going to get a playback through this, and you'll be able to go through some of these. ITC Web Services. Market Click Internet Marketing is another one. Market Click Internet Marketing. Intertech Communications. INTER-Tech Communications is another good one. Strategic Network Solutions is a good one. Monopolize Your Marketplace is another good one. So I just gave you, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, enough to get your 5 started. All of these, most of these will approve you even with EIN at 411. So I want to give you the starter ones because those are ones mostly you can get approved with. I can't go through all the sources in our system today. We don't have time, okay? We have more sources in the system than anywhere else, any other business credit building system. We actually happen to have D&B's list. We know everybody that reports to D&B, so it gives us a huge advantage over anybody else in the business credit field because we know everybody that reports. And on top of knowing who reports, we know their underwriting guidelines. So these are things we provide to the client with each source, what products they sell, who they report to, their underwriting guidelines, and these are things no other business credit company provides because they just don't know the information, to be quite honest with you. We have this information from D&B. We even have a full-time person that just checks, updates, adds new sources to this. But for your case, a lot of these ones I just mentioned will work for you even as a brand new startup business. Look, this is the difficult part right here of business credit building. And I'm going to stop on this page where you can write down some more of these. Okay, so actually I'm not going to have you write these down because a lot of these, well, yeah, I will because some of them do report. Radio Shack reports to D&B and Experian, for example. A lot of these other ones here don't report, so we just use them for trade references. So I'll go ahead and put you to a page where a lot of them do report so you can write some of these down. Okay, so let's talk about vendor. Let me tell you two things. First of all, this is the work right here. This is the work nobody wants to do, and it's not hard to do. All you need to do is find 5 sources and get approved. Apply with them. Okay. Now, finding the sources is hard because 90% of trade vendors don't report. The ones that do don't advertise they do. So you're going to have to do a little legwork and research to find your 5 vendors. Okay, I showed you 7. I've got 1, 2, 5 more pulled up here. So by the end of this, you're going to have access to 10 or 15, and you only need 5. Okay, our clients have access to, I don't know, 50 or 60, so they got a massive abundance to choose from. And again, each one of them has the guidelines and all that, making it real easy to apply. But Uline, Halo, Rapid Forms, a lot of these companies do and will approve you for vendor credit. So these are a lot of the ones that you want to try to get access to. Home Depot. Now, the further we get in step 4, the more difficult their qualification requirements are. Okay, so these are ones you might not start with. You might get after you got your initial ones. And again, I'm flying through quick because I can't go through all of these. I just don't have the time today to do it. But if you go back to this video, you can kind of check it out. Now, once we've picked the 5 sources, our clients can just sign up online in one click. We auto-populate their application. We submit it. I mean, it's a cakewalk. I hit submit. I just applied for the account. We can't make it any easier. Okay, but again, you're going to want to help the client go through the actual process of getting approved for those accounts. Once you've done that, it is all reward time for you because the next thing you do is just start getting revolving credit cards. You're going to start with store credit. These are starter store credit business cards. Staples, Office Depot, Shell offers a fleet card. Tractor Supply, Home Depot, Applied Bank. Now, these companies will approve you if you have about 5 trades on your credit report and a good score. So what we did in step 4 was we went ahead and added 5 trades to the credit report. It takes about 30 to 90 days for those accounts to report. Then you have 5 trade lines. Then you have a business credit score established. Once you have that done, well, then you can come in and start getting revolving credit cards like these ones I just showed you here. And you can keep growing that. You can get to a point where you can even get Walmart and Costco credit cards, Amazon, Dell accounts, and so on and so on. Lowe's, Sears, Home Depot, BP, Chevron, Speedway. Okay, all of these are available with business credit. Sam's Club, Racetrack. Okay, even to a point where you just start getting into MasterCards. This is what people want business credit for. You spend 30 to 90 days to build the trade lines, the vendor trade, then you're getting real revolving store credit, then you move into Visa, MasterCard. If you're following this process, it should take you about 30 to 90 days to get your 5 vendors, then you build your revolving, and it takes about 4 to 6 total months till you start getting Visa, MasterCard in your business name without any liability. Okay, not difficult here, ladies and gentlemen, not a difficult process. And right now, from today, if you start, you're about 4 to 6 months away from starting to getting credit cards in your business name with no guarantee. Those will be small limits to start, $300, $400, $500. Okay, and then from that point on, those will increase to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and then some. Okay, I got a couple minutes. I'll show you. I got another webinar coming up here I'm getting ready to do for our existing clients, but let me show you some things here. I'll show you some. I didn't plan on this, but I'll show you. These are real approvals, okay? $10,000 credit approval. Okay, here's one for $15,000. These are just Visas and MasterCards here. These are real, actual approvals from us going through the system. Here's one for 20 grand. This is a gas card with BP, doesn't have an amount on there. This is a Shell card for 4 grand. This is a Citibank card for 8,500. What's up with that, man? Why are you approving me such a low limit? What are we supposed to do with 8,500 bucks? Okay, then we move into, here's another Chase one, this one's for 10 grand. I think I showed you one for 20. Here's another one from Bank of America for 10 grand. Whew, I'm getting wore out. One from American Express for 60,000. One from PNC Bank for $125,000. Okay, so these are real results of us going through the system. That's what business credit basically can do for you and for your client. Okay, step 6 is just kind of like step 2. We walk our clients back through funding because now they've built the business credit. Okay, so that kind of gives you a good overview of the actual business credit building process with us. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about actually getting started, you can go to businesscreditexpert.com to learn about actually offering business credit with us. You get enrolled. When you get enrolled, you get everything you need to market the business credit. You get kind of a business credit in a box, email content, social media content, articles, press releases, done for you marketing, all those different kinds of things. So if you're interested in building business credit with us, instead of doing it on your own, feel free to go to businesscreditexpert.com. You will get your own finance suite with your enrollment, and you get your business in a box, everything you need to market it, even your own websites, articles, press releases, free reports, ebooks, marketing flyers, marketing videos, everything. Plus, if you are enrolling, if you think this might be something you want to do and you want to jump on board with us to offer business credit, through February 3rd, we're actually offering a pretty big discount, $800. Not to everybody, only to the attendees on this webinar, period. That's it. Okay? And to do that, you just go to businesscreditexpert.com. You would enroll for our professional plan. You enroll for our professional, and I automatically upgrade you to premium. You save about 800, actually exactly $800. And again, you get your own finance suite with that. Again, that's valid through this Sunday. You can also break that down into payments of $400. It only takes one payment of $400 to actually get started. Plus, we've got some other cool bonuses. Okay, you're also going to get a free ready-to-publish book on personal and business credit. You could literally be a published author, and we teach you even how to publish it for free. We get you all access to all of our business credit weekly coaching webinars. So the one I'm getting ready to go into in 4 or 5 minutes here, you get access to all of those. Plus, you get 3 months of credit repair content, 3 months of credit repair social media posts, 2 months for 2 free reports for credit repair, a credit repair kit with a 60-page credit repair process overview, dispute suite log, 101 dispute suite letter library. Again, we give a business in a box for the business credit. We've seen a lot of our clients are in credit repair and would like to get some of that info also, so we include that with some bonuses, all if you're enrolling through Sunday, February 3rd. Okay, so if you do want to offer business credit with us, you can go to businesscreditexpert.com, look at the enrollment plans. Keep in mind, through this Sunday, you can get that top premier plan for the professional level, and all of our plans you can start with $400. If you do get access to our finance suite, and that's something that you actually want to offer, it's pretty powerful. Okay, it's the only system in the world that combines business credit funding, more funding sources than anywhere else, only system in the world that has both certified business credit advisors and finance officers to help your clients through the process. We give a $50,000 guarantee to your client, guaranteeing them that everybody will secure at least $50,000 in business credit and or funding. It's a real good opportunity to do it with us. All you pay per funding suite you activate is $700, and you keep the rest. Okay, so to give you an idea, if you come in and sell the system to your client, our clients are making about $2,000 to $3,000 in profit per sale. Okay, they're selling it for typically between $1,500 and $3,500. So our clients are making $2,000 to $3,000 in profit per sale. It takes about 3 sales to make $9,000 a month with this. Even if your clients were paying monthly payments and you made 3 sales, conservatively, you would make $9,000 a month with selling this. And with all the financing that's available and the business credit, we make it fairly easy to do Because again, it's like I tell our clients, you're basically selling something for $3,000 where the client gets 50. And in the training, and we give you a lot of training to help you get going, we help you understand exactly who can get funding, how much money they can get, who can't get funding. You learn that in the training. We even have things called pre-qualification forms, funding program cheat sheets that introduce you to the funding programs. So all of that you get when you get going, making it real easy for you to sell business credit funding through a turnkey system. And this makes it nice because you make the sale, you pocket $2-3 grand, and you're done. Then our business advisors and finance officers take over, and all that you learned here is done for your clients. You don't need to do any of it. But again, my goal was to teach you how to do it all, so at the end of this, you now know all the steps involved with actually getting business credit. And when you get this playback, you can even go write down some of those sources so you can look into them if you do want to do it on your own. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, please let me know. My number, my information is right here. BusinessCreditExpert.com is where you go to get info about getting going. You can call me at 877-600-2487, or you can email me, ty@DisputeSuite.com, and I can talk to you more about getting enrolled, any questions you have about business credit, even if you don't have questions about being enrolled, but just general questions about business credit. Please go ahead and let me know. Okay, so that being said, I wish I had time for questions, but I don't. I will just answer one real quick. The question is a great question. It applies to everybody. Do you have a funding program for small debt settlement companies? Why did I say it applies to everybody? Because it goes to the teaching of you who can get funding and who can't. It's real simple. For a business to get money through our system, this is all they need. The business credit building takes 9 to 12 months to build, obviously. To get financing right away, if the business owner has good personal credit, they can get unsecured credit. If they have good business credit built, they can get money, or if they have some kind of collateral. So if your debt settlement company has purchase orders or account receivables, if you have equipment, if you have consistent revenue for your business, then yes, you could definitely get money. And you have my email address. I know you want something specific for me to send over to you. I will send that to you. Just go ahead and email me what you want, and I'll go ahead and send that over to you. So thanks, everybody, for taking the time to attend this webinar. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. I'm going to head into another webinar with our active business credit clients. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can help with on my end, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Thanks, everybody. Have an exceptional end of January and an exceptional February.